Question on everybody's mind is, would Texas agree to cut production?
If the president negotiates an international deal, which it seems like is in the works, and in fact, I'm sure you saw I got a call from the Russian oil minister yesterday, and if us cutting would promote that or help get that deal done, then yes, I think that Texas would be supportive of that.
Do you guys have, there's 3 commissioners as I understand it. Do you all have to agree to a vote on that? Does it mean quotas? Can it, how formal of a decision would something like this be?
It would be a formal decision, be a vote, and it would take 2 of the 3 of us to vote for it. The mechanism to do this has actually been in place in the state of Texas for nearly 100 years. Back from the 1920s to the 1970s, Texas prorated its production and was actually the primary driver of global oil prices for those 5 decades. So we have a long case history. We have the mechanisms to do this. The question is, does it help get an international deal done? If so, we've got the mechanisms to do it.
Well, some of the critics of this move say quotas in particular could help the weaker players in the oil patch and hurt the stronger ones. What is your response to that?
Well, right now, people talk about this being a market situation. The fact is, I don't know who's doing well in the oil business right now. And when you have demand destruction of 20 to 25 million barrels, this is not a normal market condition. I mean, if you believe this is a normal market, then apparently we have a 90% oversupply of restaurants in the United States. The fact is, we're not talking about normal market forces, so it's not going to take a normal market response. Us looking at how to simply stabilize the oil business through this crisis so that those jobs remain and we can produce more oil in the future when demand comes back, that's got to be our top priority.
People are also wondering if you could come up with an unconventional way of cutting or capping production. One of the things I've seen is requiring companies to kind of agree to the natural gas permitting that I know are not that greatly enforced right now. So in order to avoid nat gas flares, having to do something like that could effectively shut production. The other thing I've seen is maybe stopping offshore drilling. I mean, are there different levers that you can pull here?
There are different ways we could prorate. In the end, the Railroad Commission actually has a specific charge in Texas law, which is to prevent waste. And one of the criteria for preventing waste is looking at market demand. So if we want to follow our Texas constitutional prescribed powers, then we need to look at simply what the market is. Now, yes, we could say we're going to limit flaring, but just like earlier, some people have said, wait a minute, you may be disproportionately impacting stronger or weaker performers if we use flaring as the tool that's using a particular policy concern to affect an outcome that we may not want. So I would be hesitant to jump off into that and not simply stay focused on what is the market demand and how do we share in that market reduction equally during this specific coronavirus downturn.
Would you be comfortable with $42 oil? That's what Vladimir Putin earlier today said he would be satisfied with.
I'll tell you this. I actually think, to be very blunt, that's high for now. I am not doing this to try to get the price of oil up. What I'm trying to do is keep it from crashing into the single digits. If you get into the 20s, even $30 a barrel, there are levels at which I believe that the U.S. producer can sustain, can operate, won't be comfortable, still have really cheap prices at the pump, but it will keep the massive amount of bankruptcies from going on. If storage fills up, at that point, there's just nowhere to put the oil, which is the track we're on right now.
Ryan, is Texas joining OPEC?
No, that will not be the case. This will be part of a singular deal. If we're following the president's lead on this, if he decides that we need to do something, as I said, got the call from Russia yesterday. If this is part of that international agreement, in light of the fact that we are in arguably the worst economic pandemic in mankind's history, then yeah, we will participate in extraordinary measures due to those extraordinary circumstances. I don't see us having a long-term role with OPEC at all.
All right. Ryan, thanks for your time today and for joining us. We appreciate it.